Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I would like to start off by giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahawah Bahashem, Yahawashi Bahashem, Rekah Kwadash. I would like to give double honors to the head apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, the true leaders of Israel to this day, who taught me this truth. And I would like to say shalom to all the Akim and the Akwath that's believing on this truth and that's seeking their salvation at the hands of Yahawah and his only begotten son, Yahawashi. I would like to say shalom. So today I'm entitled this video, There is No Work for Egypt. This place is fading away real time. And before we start off in the book of Isaiah chapter 19, this is the video I want to get into today. Okay, it says 100,000 people have been laid off from Amazon and 30,000 from UPS. All right, and guess what? This place is going to continue to fall. This place is not going to be healed. It's going to continue to get worse. So let's read Isaiah 19, starting at verse 14. It says, the Lord has mingled a perverse spirit in the midst thereof, and they have caused Egypt to err in every works, as a drunken man staggers in his vomit. Neither shall there be any work for Egypt, which the head, tail, branch, or rush shall do. Okay, and see, we're coming into the times where this place is getting ready to be shut down. Okay, so all you jakes that have depended on Egypt, leaned upon Egypt, okay, put all your trust in Egypt, okay, as it tells you in Isaiah 30, woe unto you, all right, because this place is coming to a close, all right. All you people that's on TikTok, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, complaining about this cruel Lord, okay, especially you jakes, well, guess what? The prophets has told you there's going to come a time where it ain't going to be no work. Okay, that's why we depend on prophecy. We understand that it's going to come a time where we're going to have to step out on faith and totally depend on our power. Yahawah B'Shem Yahawashi, as it tells you in Isaiah 10 and 20. Okay, it's going to become a time where we're going to have to be pilgrims upon the earth. All right. Babylon is not going to be healed. So if you have put your trust in Babylon, okay, this is bad news. But for us, we're rejoicing. We need this place to fall. So let's play this video.
UPS just announced 30,000 job layoffs in 2026 in the U.S.
Nike is laying off 775 employees.
And these others are expected to do the same in what's quickly becoming one of the largest countrywide job cuts in recent history.
What? What the heck has happened to the American system?
Hundreds of thousands of jobs are vanishing right before our eyes. And what I'm about to show you reveals just how dramatically the American workforce is being reshaped. Companies aren't just cutting back anymore. Oh no, they're completely eliminating entire departments and job categories that may never come back.
UPS just announced 30,000 job layoffs in 2026 in the U.S. What? Yes, UPS, the United Parcel Service, just announced 30,000 job layoffs in 2026 and closing 24 service centers. What? Yes. Why would they be doing this? Well, a slowdown in packages, a slowdown in purchasing. Amazon, they say, have slowed quite a bit, and I wonder why they've slowed down. Let's see. Who's in charge of the tariff policy in this country that makes things become more expensive? Who's in charge of the economic policy in the United States now for over a year? Who has seen the economy only grow at a slower and slower and slower pace? Who is in charge? You all tell me. We're on TikTok now, so I want to be careful about mentioning names, but you all know who. 30,000 jobs.
We'll tell you who exactly is in charge. That goddamn cruel Lord. Let's go up in the same book. This is Isaiah 19 and 4. It says, and the Egyptians, okay, the martyred the Egyptians, or you goddamn Americans, okay? And the Egyptians will I give over into the hands of a cruel Lord, okay? And we see that cruel Lord ruling over you right now, okay? We understand he's being, instructed, okay, by the elites in the background, okay? But he's bringing you goddamn Americans to your knees, okay? And the Egyptians will I give over into a cruel Lord, and a fierce king shall rule over them, saith the Lord of hosts. Okay, so we're in that time where that cruel Lord is ruling over the Americans. Okay, we not in the 70s, 80s, 90s, early 2000s no more. Okay, it's getting ready to get real draconian over here in America, Babylon the Great. Okay, modern day Egypt.
By UPS. That is not good. We're going the wrong direction.
Bloomberg is reporting that multiple U.S. companies are announcing mass layoffs, and these others are expected to do the same in what's quickly becoming one of the largest countrywide job cuts in recent history. In the latest sign that major changes are coming for the United States economy, employers across nearly every sector, from tech to healthcare, have announced layoffs totaling in the tens of thousands, with some companies citing efficiency gained from AI as the main reason. It's likely most are conducting the cuts as purely a money-saving measure intended to quickly boost the company's stock price, and this time no one was safe as the hardest-hit companies spanned multiple industries. In tech, Amazon led the charge by laying off 16,000 corporate employees, most of them engineers. Pinterest followed by letting go roughly 15% of their entire workforce. Other sectors impacted include Nike and FedEx in the retail space, Expedia in travel, and Blue Shield of California in healthcare, but things are only getting worse from here, with even more companies announcing their intention to join in on future.
He said things are only going to get worse from here. Okay, and that's in the book of Jeremiah, chapter 51. Okay, Babylon cannot be healed. All right, and see, Jake have this, pleasant outlook upon America, not realizing that this place is circling the drain. Okay, and the prophets, starting off with the head apostles and elders, a great millstone, down to every likewise brother that has this doctrine, has told you niggas that this place is circling the drain, that this place cannot be healed. Okay, turn back to Yahawah Yahawashi while you have an opportunity. Okay, seek the Lord while he may be found, because we're coming into the times, okay, and we're quickly approaching it. Okay, as we always tell you, Jacob's trouble, we're quickly approaching Jacob's trouble, where it's about to get terrible out here. Okay, once again, these job layoffs are just a domino, okay, that's falling. All right, but best believe, okay, all these job losses are going to create chaos. All right, so let's go to Jeremiah 51. The point is in verse 9, but we'll start at 6 and read down into it. It says, flee out of the midst of Babylon and deliver every man his soul. Be not cut off in her iniquity, for this is the time of the Lord's vengeance. And that's what we continue to tell Jake. Okay, come up out of this place first and foremost mentally. Okay, detach yourself from this American dream. All right, because it's about to become a nightmare. Okay, and seek the Lord while he may be found, because his vengeance is creeping upon this place. Okay, he will render unto her a recompense. Babylon has been a golden cup in the Lord's hand that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are mad. Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. How for her? Take balm for her pain. If so be she may be healed. We would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. It said we may have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. That is Yahawah Yahawashi telling you, Jake, that this place is not going to be healed. Okay, we're looking at this video, but we care less, okay, about these different nations. They don't have a chance. Okay, but the doors of repentance is still opening to you, Jake. All right, this place is not going to be healed. Okay, it's going to be many more job cuts. Okay, it's going to be many more people homeless. All right, and this goddamn cruel Lord that's dealing over you have already told you it's going to be illegal to become homeless. All right, but he's cutting all these jobs, cutting all the government assistance. All right, and we understand that some of these things are going to affect some of the elect, but we have our hope in something beyond this place. We have our hope in divine interventions. We got our hope in miracles. Okay, we understand that we may have to be pilgrims upon the earth. Okay, we understand that we may lose things. All right, but that's why we continue to sow to ourselves in righteousness, so we may reap in mercy in the day of judgment, because that's what's creeping upon about America, Babylon the Great. Judgment. All right. It's going to continue to get worse as he just said. It's going to continue to get worse because Babylon cannot be healed. Let's read again. How for her take balm for her pain? If so be she may be healed, we would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her. Okay, Jake, forsake this thing. Okay, of course we know we got to get our daily bread. All right, but we shouldn't be entangled in this place. Forsake her and let us go, everyone into his own country, for her judgments reaches to heaven and is even lifted up into the skies. All right, so you got to understand this place is not going to be healed. Once again, as this guy said on the screen, he says it's going to continue to get worse from here.
Layoffs as corporate America, including Microsoft, who announced that they will conduct one of the largest layoffs in their recent history, both view the current situation as an opportunity to reduce headcount without drawing the public backlash that typically comes with mass job cuts.
I can't believe he got me this for Valentine's Day.
Got some layoff updates today. January 27, 2026, Nike is laying off 775 employees. The main areas where it's going to lay off is Tennessee and Mississippi. And yes, those are both red states. Also, Amazon is going to be laying off another 30,000 people coming up this year in 2026. They already laid off 18,000. If you did not know, 58% of companies are expected to do layoffs in 2026. It already started in January with 128 companies filing what's called a layoff notice, a WARN notice on the layoff website called warntracker.com. If you have not visited that website, I highly recommend it because you'll get a 60-day notice on layoffs for companies with 50 or more employees. If you did not know, a few months ago, we were already at 4.6 unemployment rate, which is gone up every month. And that is old data, as high as 6% in some states. Expect unemployment rate to go up. What happens when people don't have a job and they don't spend money? It hurts the economy. Consumer confidence is down for 10 straight months in a row. Please do the best that you can to get your finances in order. That starts with number one, tracking your spending and then putting that into a budget and sticking to that budget before you get your paycheck and during the time that you're spending.
You know, we're witnessing something unprecedented here. This isn't your typical recession layoff cycle. This is a fundamental shift in how businesses operate. Because when you see companies like UPS cutting 30,000 positions, and Amazon eliminating entire teams, these aren't just numbers. These are roles that are literally disappearing forever. They're gone. And experts are warning we might be heading towards a complete collapse in the labor market.
In the next 3 years, millions of white-collar jobs are going to vanish. And nobody's warning you. The World Economic Forum predicts that 83 million jobs are going to disappear by 2027. And these aren't just factory roles. We are talking accountants, analysts, paralegals, customer service reps, even parts of medicine and law. AI doesn't get tired. It does not need a salary. It doesn't make human errors.
And that's what they're getting ready to change. That's what they're getting ready to switch to. AI getting ready to take a lot of these jobs. Okay, they want to put that C-hip up in everybody and put everyone into a perpetual, constant, prison. Okay, a digital prison. All right. And you still got Israelites not, warning their flock about what's really going on. All right. We're seeing this thing play out real time, and Jake is playing around. We're seeing this thing play out real time, and Jake is still trusting in oppression. All right. It ain't no jobs that's going to be saved. All right. The grinding is slowing down. All right. The grinding is slowing down little by little. But guess what? Okay, it's going to continue to increase.
Companies are realizing they can replace a $100,000 employee with a $100 a month subscription. You might think that you're safe just because you're educated, because you've built a career, because your company needs you. But that's exactly what the travel agents thought. That's what the print media thought. They didn't see the wave until it actually crushed them. And if you are not already adapting and learning and building new skills, making yourself irreplaceable, this wave is going to drown you too. The question isn't if it's coming for your role. The question is, how long until it does?
You've said AI could wipe out half of all entry-level white-collar jobs and spike unemployment to 10 to 20% in the next 1 to 5 years.
Yes,
that's shocking.
That is the future we could see if we don't become aware of this problem now.
Half of all entry-level white-collar jobs.
Well, if we look at entry-level consultants, lawyers, financial professionals, many of kind of the white-collar service industries, a lot of what they do, AI models are already quite good at, and without intervention. It's hard to imagine that there won't be some significant job impact there, and my worry is that it'll be broad and it'll be faster than what we've seen with previous technology.
A Wall Street economist says that the labor market isn't cooling, it's collapsing. I took notes. A veteran Wall Street economist is warning that the U.S. labor market is heading for a sharp downturn in 2026. David Rosenberg, formerly of Merrill Lynch and head of Rosenberg Research, says employment is no longer slowing, it's contracting. The unemployment rate has already risen to 4.6% from 4% earlier in 2025. Rosenberg says it could soon rise above 5% and possibly reach 6% by the end of 2026. He points to several warning signs, including layoff rates rose to 1.2% in October, the highest in a year. Hiring has dropped sharply. Consumer surveys show fewer people believe jobs are plentiful, and the gap between jobs are plentiful and jobs are hard to get is now at its lowest level since early 2021. Rosenberg says these indicators historically point to a rise in unemployment. While many Wall Street economists expect a stable job market and only 1 or 2 Federal Reserve rate cuts, Rosenberg disagrees. He believes the labor market contraction and a possible recession will force the Fed to cut rates by 125 basis points by the end of this year, like 2026 year. He also dismisses recent strong economic growth data, calling it misleading, and says income growth has been flat after inflation. Rosenberg argues that layoffs may not yet show up fully in jobless claims because many white-collar workers receive severance pay and they delay filing for unemployment. Despite criticism that he is being overly pessimistic, Berg says his outlook is driven by labor market data and not politics, and that the data is signaling rising risk. Do you think unemployment is about to spike? Save this if you're watching out for the job market and comment your industry. Also, let me know your thoughts in the comments.
Well, that's hitting.
And you could tell Eve still trust in this place. And of course, we're not going to play this whole thing. We'll stop it right
Generation
there.
Z
Jake still trusting in oppression. All right, let's go to the book of Isaiah. It's a lot. Isaiah 31. We're going to get 30 and 31. Okay, it says, Judah warned against Egyptians' alliance. Okay, and see, Jake has made an alliance with these goddamn devils. They trust in oppression. They trust their jobs. Okay, and when you fully trust on this shit, okay, it's gonna slip. All right, this is Isaiah 30 and 1. Woe to you rebellious children. And this is speaking to you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. Okay, the true children of Israel, saith the Lord, that take counsel, but not of me. Because if you've taken true counsel of Yahawashi, you would be having your ear to the prophets. You will be listening to what's coming out of this book. All right. That take counsel, but not of me, that cover with a covering, but not of my spirit, that they may add sin unto sin, that walk to go down into Egypt and have not asked at my mouth, to strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh and trust in the shadow of Egypt. Okay, and see, a shadow, it passes. All right, this place is getting ready to pass. Okay, this is not a certain thing. All right, you know, your your lifestyle is not certain, your job is not certain, nothing over here is certain. But what is certain is these words that's coming out of this book. Okay, that's a true thing to trust in. Yahawashi. All right, let's read again. That walk to go down into Egypt and have not asked my mouth, to strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh, and to trust in the shadow of Egypt. Therefore shall the strength of Pharaoh be your shame, and the trust of the shadow of Egypt your confusion. And see, a lot of people getting ready to be confused as these days, continue to come faster and faster. Okay, they're going to be confused why they're being laid off. They're going to be confused why the economy is going belly up. They're going to be confused why why the storehouse is going to end up empty. They're going to be confused about, why they ain't going to have no money in their in their bank account when they turn this thing digital. All right. See, when you lay your trust in prophecy, okay, we're excited about it. Okay, we don't know how we're going to get through it, but Yahawashi already have told us we got the victory. So we really don't give a fuck. We're ready for this thing to go belly up. All right, this is Isaiah 31. Help not in Egypt, but in Yahawah. Okay, so we got to put our help in Yahawashi. Woe to them that go down to Egypt for help, and stay on horses and trust in chariots, because there are many, and in horsemen because they are very strong, but they look not into the Holy One of Israel, neither seek the Lord. Okay, once again, we always tell our people, seek the Lord while he may be found, and our people want nothing to do with Yahawah Bahashem Yahawashi. Okay, yet he also is wise and will bring evil. So evil days are coming. Okay, and will not call back his words. These words are faithful and true, and they're going to go forth. Okay, prophecy is going to go forth, but will arise against the houses